What is truly amazing about this moment is, yes, the house is on fire, but we can build a different house. And that moment doesn't come very often.
I refuse to go back into the shadows!
I refuse to go back into the shadows!
The only way we make sure that we build the kind of house that we want, the kind of democracy that we want, is if we are first in community with one another, second, then able to exercise power together and on behalf of one another and in support of one another, and then third, so that we use that power to build a very different structure.
What's unique about the Anchor Collaborative is that it gives us the opportunity to broaden and increase our impact. We don't have to work in silos. We have the opportunity to work together.
We have some of the oldest and largest civil rights organizations within our grouping, and then we have some next-gen civil rights organizations that are newer. And that gives us a reach of 53 million people.
What we have seen is that when we vote, we can make a difference in the elections, and even more than that, when we vote, we can make the difference in elections.
Moving into the election cycle, the Anchor Collaborative knew that we needed to make sure that young voters were mobilized. And so we did polling, and we did it different than what is usually done. The polling included Black, Latinx, Asian Pacific Islanders, and Indigenous young voters. That's different because typically groups will only hear one or two of those groups, maybe oversample, but we wanted all represented because we know that their voices are important. And we know that they see themselves in the fights together. The results of that polling told us so. That in fact, the number one issue across the board for all of those communities was racial discrimination. And that was important to us, to turn that into messaging, to mobilize young voters, using the hashtag #TogetherWeVote, putting out images of them fighting the good fight together, making good trouble together. We wanted to lean into solidarity and unity with young voters of color.
The Anchor Collaborative is critical in so many ways. But I think at its core, it challenges our racialized history. At its core, it's about us recognizing that the history of race and racism in this country is about separating us. It is about dividing us. And the Anchor Collaborative is an opportunity for Black and Brown communities to come together and express our collective voice in a way that actually demonstrates and challenges the very notion of racism in the United States.
It's important for us to be visible. It is important to be heard.
I'm also very proud that the Anchors have stood strongly together on all the anti-immigrant policies, whether it be public charge or messing with DACA or the Muslim ban, and that for all of us to continue to stand together across all of our issues is so critical.
The Anchor Collaborative is community.
The Racial Equity Anchor Collaborative is solidarity. Ending racist mascots isn't just about a sports team or a logo. It's about dismantling an inherently racist system that really affects us all.
So when Mark Morial, the head of the National Urban League, says in the USA Today that the R word of the Washington football team, that racial slur, is the direct equivalent of the N word that has done so much harm to so many African Americans across this country, I think it really made it real for people. It made people understand that this is not just an Indian country issue, this fight against sports mascots that depict Native people.
Anchor Collaborative is the foundation that allows us to stand tall together.
And when we work together in this collaborative, we bring passion, we bring years of experience, we bring a deep analysis, larger impact of racial injustice in this country, and what it's doing to people, what it's doing to their lives. But we also bring solutions. And this collaborative, it's about people really caring, about people really showing their hearts, about people really leaning in the most profound ways.
America's greatest strength is the diversity of her people. We as a collaborative, as a multiracial group, are working together to help unleash the unique superpowers that each of our communities can contribute to ensuring that our country meets its aspirations, that it becomes a place indeed where there is an equitable voice for every one of us, regardless of where we came from or what we look like.